So good evening, everyone. Before we do our council meeting, we have a presentation from Special Olympics, Illinois Special Olympics. I'll let them tell why they're here and what they want to say. So if you guys want to come up here, and the mics are picking us up, I assume.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dave Breen, and I'm President and CEO of Special Olympics Illinois. And I also have Nate Henry, who's our Director of State Championships here, and also Marty Hickman, who's our Chief Operating Officer. Just a couple of quick facts about Special Olympics Illinois. We've been headquartered in Normal since 1977. We serve about 45,000 traditional and young athletes and 48,000 volunteers. We put on about 400 of events each year, and we're really pleased that 3 of our state championships are here in Normal, Bloomington, and very happy about that from a couple of fronts. One, it engages the community, obviously, but we're also here to recognize the town council, town of Normal, and the fire department and police department for their support, particularly of Summer Games. Summer Games is the largest sporting event that we do, where there's approximately 4,200 athletes that come to town with 1,700 coaches. We utilize 2,500 volunteers. So it's a really big undertaking that we certainly could not do without the support of the town of Normal and certainly the fire and public safety of the police department. I'd like to thank Mayor Coos, because he's always coming out to our events and welcoming everybody, and the town council for their support, which goes above and beyond for Special Olympics Illinois, I believe. I'm lucky enough to go around the country and to many different states, and there really is not the support that you see that we get from the town of Normal. I'd also like to thank, and I know you dedicated the plaza, Mark Peterson and now Pam Reese, for conducting really a one-of-a-kind event for us anywhere in the United States or the world. Is our Uptown Dance. Brings about 3,000 athletes to Uptown Normal, which is really thrilling for us. We have a presentation that I'll mention in a minute, but really would like to recognize Chief Humer from the fire department for the financial support and also for the assistance involvement with state basketball and Summer Games, especially for keeping the athletes, coaches, and volunteers safe really 24/7 at our venues and at the dorms. I'd also like to thank Normal Police Department and Chief Bleichner. And by the way, he also does a mean Freddie Mercury if you went to the lip sync battle too, by the way. So, and that's support above and beyond. But also Nikki Bruno and Jackie Thomas are 2 individuals, and I would just say this: we really appreciate the support of the fire department and the police department, because really the law enforcement torch run is the biggest fundraiser that supports Special Olympics at $4.5 million per year. But I can assure you, you have one of the, if not the best department in the state, and under Nikki's leadership, certainly, and Jackie. So we want to thank the chief for that as well. We always like to be great partners, and we want to grow our program. And we serve as a pivot point because we just completed the 50th year anniversary for Special Olympics in Chicago. And there were 50 states and there were over 40 countries that participated in the activities. And the 50th anniversary provides a pivot point for our 5.5 million athletes worldwide that come from 172 countries. And really, we like to say, and it does resonate so much from Normal, because a lot of our activities are really not because of me, but because of our staff and our board and the town of Normal. We can say we're one of the best programs, I believe, in the world because of all of that. So in honor of that, we'd like to present to Chief Bleichner, Chief Humer, and to the mayor just a recognition of our thanks for all the support that you provide year in and year out for Special Olympics.
Thank you.
And I also have for Pam's desk, by the way, we did have a 50th anniversary, so you guys can fight her for the pens, but certainly we want the town council to get 50th anniversary pens as well. So we'd like to present that to Pam too on behalf of Special Olympics. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Thanks for everything.
Thanks for the great words.
We've got a whole group of folks back there too, if we want to take a picture, can we take a
Yeah,
group
that'd be
picture?
great. That'd be awesome.
Dave and Matt and such,
Yeah.
Mike, you want to come up for pictures?
Good idea.
Everyone else. Exactly.
Yeah, Mike first.
So if I can have everybody here, right in the center.
While this is happening, I'll just say real quickly, this year was more important than ever to have all the help of these folks and these guys, as we had some really difficult conditions weather-wise, and your folks stepped up tremendously, so thank you for that.
Thanks, guys.
There you are. Sure.
Call to order a regular meeting for the Normal Town Council for August 6, 2018. Please call the roll.
Mayor Kus.
Here.
Mr. Fritzen.
Here.
Mr. McBride.
Here.
Mrs. Cummings.
Here.
Mrs. Lorenz.
Here.
Mr. Preston.
Here.
Mr. McCarthy.
Here.
We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There have been no requests for public comment. We'll go right to the omnibus agenda. Items considered routine in nature and will be handled with one vote unless a council member would like to pull an item for discussion. And I would like to be excused on voting on any bills. I may have incurred my duties as mayor.
Move approval. Second.
Items on the omnibus agenda tonight are approval of the minutes of the special meeting of July 16th, 2018, and approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of July 16th, 2018. Approval of the town of Normal expenditures for payment as of July 11th, 2018, and August 18th, 2018. Resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an Amendment 1 to the vending services contract with Compass Group USA through Canteen Vending to provide vending services for various town facilities. A resolution waiving the formal bid process and authorizing the purchase of refuse containers from Schaefer Systems International in the amount of $25,503.10, and the approval of an associated budget adjustment. A resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement for cost sharing of labor and equipment costs for electronic waste recycling with the City of Bloomington and the County of McLean. A resolution approving a salary schedule adjustment for classified employees to reflect a cost of living adjustment and an associated budget adjustment. A resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement with Illinois State University pertaining to fire protection service. Please call the roll.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mrs. Cummings?
Aye.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. The omnibus agenda is approved. We have one item of general orders, which is a resolution waiving the formal bidding process and authorizing the purchase of 2 replacement fire apparatus from Spartan ER through the Houston-Galveston Area Council in the amount of $1,141,170 and approving an associated budget adjustment.
Move approval. Second.
Is there discussion on this item? Basically, this is replacing a fire engine that is long in the tooth and one that burned down. Discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mrs. Cummings?
Aye.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. The resolution is approved. One item of new business tonight is a motion to approve appointments to the Children's Discovery Museum Foundation Board.
Move approval.
Second.
As this is an item of personnel, there will be no discussion unless a council member would like to take this to executive session. And seeing no such request, please call the roll.
Mrs. Cummings?
Aye.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. The appointments are approved. Mr. Fritzen, would you read those appointments?
Yeah, we had 3 foundation board members whose terms expired, and so these folks will be replacing them. All 3 will have 3-year terms that expire in June of 2021. First is Paul Charnett, who's an architect with Francois Associates Architects in Bloomington. He's a member of the Bloomington Historic Preservation Commission and the Normal Building Board of Appeals. Also serves as the Director of College and Careers at Victory Christian Church. Hobbies and interests include architecture design, of course, residential development renovation, science and technology, music, fine food, and drink. Mr. Charnett and his family reside in Hudson. As I read through the activities of these 3, they fit well with the Discovery Museum, but man, they're busy people, so we're good to have them. Second, Carla Barnes. She works in the McLean County Public Defender's Office. She's a volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club, a dedicated supporter of Western Avenue Community Center, and often volunteers to speak at local high schools, Youth Build, ISU, and Heartland College. Her interests include reading, exercise, and relaxation, and she resides in Bloomington. And finally, Terry Ogunlay. She's works at Advanced Women's Healthcare, serves on the Advocate Bro-Men's Service Auxiliary Board, and is a volunteer at Safe Harbor, Kingsley Junior High School, University High School, and First Baptist Church. Interests include reading, traveling, exercise, and volunteering. She and her husband reside in Bloomington. We're pleased to welcome these 3 to our Children's Discovery Museum Foundation Board.
Thank you. That concludes our business. Before a motion for adjournment, are there comments or concerns?
I have one. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce our new town engineer to the city council and to the community. Ryan Otto is sitting here in the front. Ryan is joined us, his first day was last Monday, so he's on week 2, and he's filling Jean Brown's shoes as our new town engineer. So welcome.
Except I don't think Gene was wearing shoes today. Mr. Fritzen?
Yeah, on the morning of July 12th, I had an event in my life that we often talk, and I think just as recently as dedication of the new headquarters station, talked about our fire department and the rescue work they do, and how important that is to our community, how blessed we are to have the resources we have and the people we have with the training and their commitment to being public servants. And I got to experience that firsthand. Not something I'd recommend, but for the patient side of it, but on the service side of it, you can know and trust that you will be well taken care of. I don't live very far from the former headquarters station, but I been down the road a couple of times in my life with heart events, and This one that I was experiencing that morning was a lot more severe than any of my previous ones, and I think the 50 guys who showed up at my house, I know it wasn't 50, but it sure seemed like it, you know. Just 5? I mean, it seemed like a lot, but, you
They were
know.
moving fast.
As I was, you know, they're doing an EKG and doing, I mean, all business, of course, but I could see one in the background talking to my wife and consoling her a little bit, you know, and kind of explaining where things are going to go. So there's a reason there's all these people there, you know, and they all come right in and just go right to work. And called ahead to OSF on my behalf, and we went straight to the heart cath lab. And you know, like an hour and a half later, I was in a bed in my room and had 100% blockage in my right coronary artery that was double stented. And as you can see tonight, I'm here as good as can be. I wouldn't say as good as new, but good as could be from that. And, you know, in no small part due to the response of our emergency services personnel. So very grateful, of course, for that. But I think it's just something our community needs to understand and recognize that we're blessed to have the level of service we have. And when you stop and kind of in retrospect look at and think about the number of people from that call, that first call, you know, and I'm on the line with a 911 operator, and, you know, I got to say, if you think there's something going on, just call 911, you know, because don't think it's indigestion or something else. Don't pass it off. Make that call. But, you know, from that operator to the team that showed up to the house, to those at the hospital, and, you know, when you stop and kind of look back on that 2 or 3 hours of time, and you think there were literally dozens of people engaged in our community in my well-being, you know? So makes you feel pretty good about where we live and what we are blessed with here, and just wanted to say thanks in a public way to you guys and your team. Thank you.
Done, guys. Further motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mrs. Cummings?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.